Oh, you started it again. Hello. Goodbye.
Lists.
Today we are going to provide you with a delicate delight of our top 5
Lavender-centric perfume.
and this is in no particular order, so we're not doing from least favorite to best or any which way, just it's a conglomerate of top 5.
Yeah.
You want to start?
Yeah, so the first bottle we actually don't have in our collection yet. It's a bottle I'm looking forward to getting. I just have yet to purchase it.
It's a really pretty bottle.
It is a really pretty bottle. And all the rest of the bottles we own in the collection. So the first bottle that we don't own is a British perfume house by the name of
Czech and Speake, and this particular fragrance is Oxford and Cambridge.
Its two main notes that really kind of fight for dominance is mint and lavender. That's a lavender-based perfume. There you go.
Hey.
But the lavender in here starts off really strongly herbal. It's one of those lavender perfumes where you smell the lavender right away, and it's like a very herbal lavender. It's almost too strong. A lot of those
no such thing.
A lot of those lavenders that are just really herbal, I find pretty off-putting. Despite how much I love lavender, it's very hard to wear those as just like a very just raw and unencumbered lavender. But that's what starts out here, and that and the mint really just kind of blast off here. But the lavender really dries itself down to a really kind of creamy and smooth lavender, like you'd find in Lavender Palm by Tam Ford. It's the same type of lavender you're going to get here. So just endure the first blast of lavender. Just take solace in the mint if you can, because the mint there is also really good. But you're going to get that dry down of that creamy lavender that's just really nice and really just kind of like, it smells like California in a lot of ways, you know.
Which is weird because it's called Oxford and Cambridge and not California.
Yeah, but I also...
I've never been to Oxford and Cambridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
so I have no idea. Maybe it really does smell like that.
Who knows?
I'd hope so. It's really nice. A really nice smell overall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the lavender in the beginning, I would say a good way to kind of think about it is a L'Occitane lavender. L'Occitane lavender. You know what I mean? Just really strong and herbal and kind of natural smelling, almost.
Too much so.
Like a hippie essential oil dealio. So that's the first one. Oxford and Cambridge. So then, that second motherfucker you need to be thinking about when you're thinking about lavender. And to me, this is kind of like the quintessential lavender. You kind of have to smell this one if you want to start getting into lavender-based perfumes. And it's really cheap, which is great. And it lasts forever. And it doesn't smell cheap at all. That would be Pour un Homme de Caron by Caron. Yeah. That's that...
Play-Doh.
That's that doughy lavender mixed with the vanilla. This is the lavender-vanilla combo that you'll notice in a ton of other fragrances. We have 2 more on here on this list that kind of use this as a reference point. Mm-hmm. And you can also kind of think of this alongside Jicky by Guerlain as being that really like strongly Play-Doh-y. Except here... instead of mixing it with the rosemary and having all that those other herbal qualities going on that kind of bitter it up, this really is vanilla and lavender. Like there's musk in here, I think, but that's really it. It's just vanilla and lavender mostly. And it does this weird thing where, like, depending on how much you've applied to your skin depends on if you're getting the lavender or the vanilla or both.
Which makes it fun. It's like a surprise inside every time you spray.
Yeah, and it'll dry down to a creamy vanilla. It's not overly sweet, but it is very doughy. You are really going to have to prepare yourself to smell this one. When I first got this and I smelled it, I was not a fan of it initially. It took me a long time of smelling it and wearing it and reapplying it and trying tons of different lavender fragrances that did a similar thing before I loved this one.
I too also, it has grown on me. I didn't like it at first because every time you'd wear it, it smelled like Play-Doh, and I was really just not having Play-Doh. I think it's perfect for like springtime.
Yeah.
Definitely perfect for springtime. It's really easy to wear. I think even though it smells like Play-Doh, I think it's still really easy. And
yeah, and I think it's one of those things where it's like, it really is very minimal, but it becomes like this very complicated thing to wear because it's made up of these notes that, especially in men's perfumery, like you're not going to go and smell anything like a Dolce & Gabbana fragrance. You're not going to go pick up Chanel or Gucci or any of these things and expect to smell anything like this, where there's some fragrances that are like, I'm going to define masculinity by pushing all of these really like overt aggressive notes that are going to be very just like dirty and hard to smell. This one's hard to smell, but for a different reason. And I think it's very interesting that one of the quintessential male perfumes is evocative by way of cooking, a little bit dough, you know.
yeah.
But yeah, that's Pour un Homme de Caron. And it can be had for way cheap.
Yeah.
4.2 ounce bottle for like $30.
So if something you're interested in, we recommend it.
Yeah, give it a try. Like I said, if you're interested in lavender, really. So the other cheapo on our list, you've seen it before.
One of your favorites, your absolute favorites.
Yeah, one of my 3 favorites of all time.
As of right now.
As of right now, that's that Lalique Pour Homme. That's one of those. Really, I go and smell the perfumes like that I own, and this is one of the ones. I pull it up and I smell it, and every time I'm like, yeah. It's so good.
This is, so this is also another one that's got the lavender and vanilla notes. You can still smell the doughiness, but it's not the same extent of dough that you get in
Pour un Homme.
Yeah. But it's good.
And the contrast is hilarious because Pour un Homme de Caron is like I said, it's like 2 to 3 ingredients at best. And this is like Guerlain levels of ingredients. There's tons in here, tons of notes you're going to smell.
I think it's because there's so many other notes around it that the dough doesn't come as strongly through. But now that I've smelled 3 fragrances with lavender as like one of their key notes, I can definitely pick up the lavender in this, and I enjoy this. I think it's really good.
Yeah, it's super pleasant. And I think it becomes timeless. Because what they've done is they've taken that accord and they throw it together with like oak moss and amber and patchouli and sandalwood and iris, and they've just thrown it in this mix of notes that really, you read the note breakdown and you really are thinking like, oh, is that a Guerlain? No, it's Lalique.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing Lalique because this manages to somehow be a very strongly woody composition while still being like vanilla and lavender as the dominant notes.
Yeah.
Which is just, like, I don't really understand why it happens. I know that cedar is, like, one of the main notes in here. But, yeah, it's amazing. And, again, it's like a 4.2 ounce bottle you can get for, like, $30. This doesn't last as long as Pour un Homme de Caron. This, honestly, lasts probably as long as the Czech and Speake does. They both last, like probably a spring's fragrance should. It's not going to be murdering you all day. These are both lavender fragrances that you can wear during the summer too.
Yeah.
And that's part of what makes them nice. But this one is, I would say without a doubt, the most regal on the list. It's just
thebomb.com.
Man, it's good.
Yeah. So the next one on our list is actually one of my favorites, to be honest with you, and it is Histoire des Parfums 1925, also known as Casanova.
1725.
Whoops! And
for the 3rd time, the lavender vanilla fragrance combo strikes again on this list. But
I think this is the softest of the 3.
Yes.
In that regard.
But here's the thing about the fragrances that are appearing on our list. None of the lavender presentations in these fragrances really smell similar. In Czech and Speake, it's very creamy. It's for sure a creamy, soft, sweetened vanilla. In Pour un Homme, Pour un Homme is it really is very doughy. Like it's an edible, almost gourmand, doughy lavender. Then you get it in the Lalique. It's a I would call it like it's like a sharp, but also very regal And I don't think regality would be anything that I would claim in the other two.
Mm-hmm.
And here the lavender does something weird. The lavender almost takes on an iris feeling to it, where when I spray this, that lavender becomes a waxy lavender in here. And it could be because it's paired with almond and licorice, and the star anise really kind of just
I smell the wax,
shape it to be this waxy lavender.
I love it, though.
I love it, too.
I love it.
Again, I wouldn't call this long-lasting. I would call this one in the camp of the Oxford and Cambridge.
I think it lasts a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I think, like, 3/4 of a day versus a day, like, I guess.
Yeah.
Where, I don't know. I think this is also kind of like a harsh fragrance overall.
Yeah.
I think harsher than the other three that we've talked about so far.
For sure, and I think that's because you're getting those other the licorice,
notes,
and the almond and the star anise.
Yeah.
Which you don't get paired in any of these other combinations that we have here.
Which is fun because we get, even though, as we said, it's been 3 lavender and vanillas, they're all very different with what they pair them with and such. But
yeah, and I think it's just because the reason that combination appears a lot, and it doesn't appear in the same way, but I think the reason it appears a lot is that the vanilla is there to help calm the lavender down. It's kind of why you see oud shaped with rose an awful lot, is that the sweetness of the rose helps to try to curb some of the animalic notes of the oud. Only here I think it curbs the herbal notes of the lavender and kind of tries to tone them down a little bit. This is one of the more pricey ones.
Yeah.
It's like $180 for a 4.2 ounce here.
Yeah. But I don't know.
But
I love
worth
it. Yeah.
Really worth it.
Yep. So this bottle is brand new to our collection, as in we just got it today. Brand new.
Brand new.
And it comes in a beautiful bottle, and it's by a house we just talked about, which is Lalique.
Lalique. And this guy here is 1905 by Lalique. But this is going to be one of the stranger ones on the list here. You've got lavender jam-packed between thyme and pineapple here. And then there's tonka bean trying to kind of sweeten it up on the under, as well as oak moss there.
You can really smell the thyme.
Yeah, this one, lavender plays a really weird structural role here. It's almost like the cement that holds the brick house together.
Yeah.
You see it playing off of a lot of the other chords in there. But I would definitely call this spicy. This is a spicier, in my opinion, a spicier lavender. Not spicy as in the L'Octane pour Homme, where you get the pepper really kind of blasting you in the face with the lavender to try and bring out that spicy herbal quality. But here, I'm not really sure why it becomes spicy. I don't really think there's anything in the breakdown that suggests it should be spicy. But I mean, there's spices in here, kind of like the cardamom and the tonka and all that. But no, I really think this is just an incredibly unique and complex lavender in here. And I think this one really takes you far away from what other lavender perfumes are going to be doing. This is the one that says, you want to be different, you get this guy.
Yeah.
What do you think of this guy?
I enjoyed it at first sniff. I really liked it. Even with you wearing it today, I think this is really, really pleasant. You can get the creamy undertone that is the lavender in this guy. But no, I think you're right. It is different from the other types of lavender we have on this on our top 5.
Yeah, and I think something strange that goes on here with the lavender is it's pairing with the thyme that really forces lavender to share some elements of its smell that you don't get in a lot of other lavender perfumes. You don't ever see this side of lavender, and to me, it smells kind of like a darker side. And I don't just say that because it's a darker bottle, but it also is just kind of a more sophisticated.
I guess it's neat because between all 5, you can really see what lavender can really do.
Yeah.
And see how people use it in different ways, and that's kind of fun. And that's part of the reason why we like the Aces. We don't want the same thing.
Time and again.
Yeah, we don't want the same thing time and again. We just want something a little bit different. So.
Get it time again. Yeah.
Awesome. awesome. End it before it accidentally cuts us off.
Okay.
Dude, I'm not joking.